Welcome into a Week 16 Packers offensive breakdown. They lose this week to the Chicago Bears 16-22. Unfortunate game for the Packers offense. Malik Willis doing what he can. Obviously having to come in for Jordan Love. Packers had this game 16-6 with 2 minutes left. And unfortunately, they don't go home with a win. Let's dive into the film and see how they did on offense. First play, I want to focus on two guys. We got Romeo Doubs up at the top, and we got Jordan Love. Just the timing early on. Here you've got a 3rd and 9. Doubs selling vertical, and that ball is out early. All right, talking about that anticipation, you can see the footwork. Jordan Love sees this kind of shell defense, right? You've got quarters in the red zone, and he's going to start backpedaling, so he knows he's got that matchup. And this ball, he's already got his feet set, his eyes. He's already launching this ball before Doubs gets out of his break. Right at the sticks, and a nice first down from this Packers offense. Offensive line, they do a good job here, right? You got 6 defenders straight up. They got to sort this out. They're going to do a 4-man slide, a loop to the left. All right, they handle that. Chris Brooks would have handled this linebacker if he sends it. But again, decent job by the left side of the offensive line. Jordan Morgan can be a little bit stronger there in that right tackle spot, filling in for Zach Tom. Next play, first drive, 4th and 1. I think this was originally a run call, but we don't like the front. You've got essentially 5 guys, all right, that you got to take care of. If you just do an inside zone, you got Chris Brooks in the backfield. I don't think he's your best option for 4th and short. So we're going to see Love. He's going to change this. Right, and essentially we're going to get a pile concept. We're going to get a quick slant on the outside. Just one step and go. You're going to get this kind of curve towards the pylon, and then you're going to get a second out just to kind of level these things out. I think Jordan Love is trying to get this ball out quick to the pylon, but that ball has to be perfect, right? Does get to kind of the hands of Watson, but that is a tough throw with the defender kind of diving in front of your face. I think he misses Reed a little bit here. He's supposed to kind of take this up to the back pylon. This safety is breaking down, anticipating that ball to come out flat. But if Love puts some air on this, even though there's some wind, right, puts that to the back pylon, I think Reed is going to be able to make a nice play there. But unfortunately, that 4th and 1, not successful. Again, Jordan Morgan here on the right side, filling in at right tackle. Let's speed this up. That bull rush, taking him back to the quarterback. All right, trying to anchor, but not able to do that. And unfortunately, ball is not perfect enough, all right, for Watson to make a play. And you don't get 80 points on that drive. The timing was there with Romeo Doubs and Jordan Love. Here we've got a nice glance on the backside. Notice the adjustment here. This number 9, Brisker, he's going to move in from this spot inside. So that's going to make it a very clear read for Jordan Love. If he pushes outside, he's going to take this one-on-one glance. If he stays, he's going to work the other concept on the right. So we're going to take a look. There you get that window. All right, number 9 pushing out to the flat. That window opens up. Doubs able to get a nice, beautiful glance there into Bears territory. Next play was a pretty cool wrinkle. You've got Brooks coming in motion. You're not really expecting him to kind of crack or have a split zone here. And then we're going to look at the alignment as well. Normally, a back that's pushed kind of this far out, he's kind of lined up with the tackle there. That's going to be a pass, right? Based on what the Packers have done in the past, that alignment is more of a pass, but here it ends up being a run. And Jacobs gets a nice gain out of that. So we'll take a look. Got that motion. They're trying to push things over. Brisker fills, but now since he was that outside force player, Jacobs is going to be able to bounce out and get some decent yardage on this. Brisker gets caught up. Dobbs obviously trying his best. And that's a nice first down for the Packers. Next play, we'll focus on Watson. And this is a very tough play. I think if you don't have the conditions, the wind, this might be a pass interference, right? Because he's obviously 53, is not looking back towards the ball. He's making contact with the receiver. But that ball is probably deemed uncatchable. And I think the wind kind of blows it past. We'll watch it from the end zone angle as well. Gonna slow this down. He's working. You can just see that ball get pushed by the wind. You can see the angle it comes out at, and then it starts to float backwards. So it could have been a good ball in perfect conditions, but very close to a pass interference. It's just I don't think that the refs deem that as catchable, even with the contact. Then we've got next play, 1st and 10. Gonna fire up some play action. We're gonna focus on Darian Kennard up at the top. I think his feet just get stuck here in the sand. All right, obviously he's trying to drive for this play action, but he's gonna get beat. His feet stop moving. He doesn't slide, right, to keep himself square in front of this defender. Instead, he's just trying to reach and grab with his arms. That guy's gonna get across. There's pressure from 99, so Jordan Love has to step up. And of course, you get the helmet-to-helmet hit, leading with the crown of the helmet. Obvious penalty there in that situation. I know a lot of people are saying, hey, Jordan Love ducked into it. I think even if he doesn't duck, he's still way too high, and he's still leading with the crown of his helmet. Instead of hitting him on the top of the head, right, he's going to hit him in the face mask, and that's still going to be a penalty regardless. But unfortunate for the Packers there in that situation. Right, Jordan Love out for the rest of the game. Right, Kennard just getting beat by 94, and that results in a sack. But a first down for the Packers. Now you've got a 4th and 1. Malik Willis stepping in, obviously using his strengths here. A nice read option. Right, he's just reading 94. He's the edge man. He is unblocked. Right, if he goes too far inside, he rides that pretty well. And then he's just going to use those legs. Musgrave with a good block up at the top. And a nice first down, 13 yards by Malik. A pretty good job here. Textbook reading that end man. Right, riding it just enough, knowing that he's going to be able to use his speed. I think if he gives this, it gets stopped anyways with 53. Firing down in that gap. So nice job pulling that and getting a first down for the Packers. Emmanuel Wilson had a pretty solid game as well, so we're going to focus on him. Obviously, we've got blocking on the right side that we'll focus on as well. I think the Packers get lucky here, and the Bears move into a stunt, right? And that's just going to help the Packers get a nice seal on the outside. We'll just take a look at that from this angle first. You're going to have number 90 stunt upfield, so he is no longer the outside contain man. That means your 3 tech, all right, he's going to be the guy that's going to be that outside contain, so he's going to get upfield. All right, Belton then, all he has to do is just kind of seal him and kick him out, and that's going to give a nice lane, and it allows Morgan to have, this free, kind of step upfield to seal the next level. So all works out just perfectly. All right, Morgan able to seal, get a nice 14-yard gain further into the red zone. But unfortunately on this drive, another field goal. All right, the no call on the pass interference on Christian Watson resulted in a field goal. This drive, all the way down within the 10, also results in a field goal. I think that's what hurts the Packers in this game, is not being able to convert those red zone opportunities to touchdowns. Here we are, first play of the second half. We're going to focus on Christian Watson. This is a big completion to Musgrave, but it would have been a touchdown to open up their first drive on the second half. If they're able to see this, if Malik Willis is able to see this, right? He doesn't look because most of the action is heading towards the right. He's got a receiver here. He's got the crosser heading this way. He's got the escort kind of late outlet screen, and he's got this deep through on the other side. He doesn't see the safety come down because he's obviously looking towards the other side, which puts this safety on an island to try to catch up with Christian Watson, and that is just not going to happen. So if he gets his eyes there, which you would think he sees it, I think what he's seeing here is he's identifying his matchup. He sees the backer eyes on the receiver. If you can see their back, right, you're going to throw that. And it is a nice completion. Musgrave, obviously, not the most coordinated player. Gets a few extra yards, but still stumbles and falls down. But if he puts some air on this and lets Christian Watson run under it, there's no way either of these players are going to make a play on it. So it's very unfortunate that Willis doesn't see him, because that could have been a big play, momentum changer to start that second half. But it is a nice ball driven in there through the wind and 30 yards. So we'll take it. Next play, we're going to focus on Watson again, already at the snap here. But this, I think that if this is Love, he is ripping it into this basic route over the middle. He's going to be hitting him right here in that dead zone because that backer is drifting, right? So that is going to be a nice shot there straight to Watson right out of the break, right? But Malik obviously doesn't have the same rhythm with the number ones. He's going to get back, gets onto his hitch, right? His last step, if he's ready to deliver on that last step, that ball is out. But he's hitching up, he's waiting for things to happen, and then there's pressure. I mean, I know Malik Willis he played a pretty good game. He was efficient with the offense. He's able to scramble like this and make plays, but he's not quite there as a starter in the NFL. You can make things work. You're going to have close games when he's your starter, but there's just some tiny things in terms of the mechanics, in terms of his timing and the drop, right? You can see where his eyes get here. He's already kind of progressing to his next read rather than just staying on Watson, because I think if he stays here, sets that foot and rips it, he's going to have Watson for a big gain. But he's still able to escape, right? Make a nice move and get a first down. And unfortunately, you're going to see it on this angle. We got Reed and Watson colliding with each other, both of them banged up. Reed obviously hurt his knee. Watson was out for a little while, but ended up returning to the game. And there's really not much to analyze on this one. It's just unfortunate. Another, inside the 5, you've got the duo concept that they're going to run. And Jacobs is going to bounce this outside to one of these unblocked defenders. All right. Who number 26 is going to get in there. All right. I think if he kind of just dives in here and just tries to push that pile forward, he's going to get some help from behind, and that ball isn't going to be as exposed. All right. It is a good play by 26. All right. Refs let the play go for a little bit, that little bit of a scrum, and that ball's going to fall. And unfortunately, Packers don't get any points on that drive. Again, we'll highlight Emmanuel Wilson here. Good job being patient and not pushing this too much to the outside, and just waiting for that cutback lane in case there was any over pursuit. Offensive line does a decent job here, accounting for a guy who's going to be coming down late. All right. So he gets picked up. There's a push from the interior. Ryan obviously kind of falling down, but it's going to put him in better position to seal that backside for a cutoff block. All right. And he's going to fire up, get a nice 12-yard gain due to that patience. All right, so we'll look here. Doing a little bit of a zone to the weak side. Banks doing a good job on the linebacker. Belton staying in front of his man. Wilson being patient, waiting for that cutback and getting a first down. Now, this was the most impressive throw by Malik on the day. Obviously, a touchdown here to Romeo Doubs. Really nice ball in the wind. And this is just a nice kind of, it's basically a flood concept switch release. You're going to have a quick, 5 out here. He's going to switch underneath, but he's going to go on the fade. And that's just going to be, man coverage. Doubs is going to win. There's no high safety help. That's a very good ball by Willis in the wind. All right, he recognized that one high safety look. Usually in the Packers offense, your fade is going to be an alert. He's going to take that one-on-one shot. Confident player, able to make something happen and put the Packers on the board with a touchdown. Something that Matt LaFleur loves to do when Malik Willis is in the game is use a lot of misdirection. Obviously, he's a runner, and here you're going to use, Savion Williams coming in motion. You're going to fake the read option. You've got the spin kind of counter motion after the snap, where you're going to get a lead block. And it's just really unfortunate that Fitzpatrick is going to get hurt on this play. This is the play that his Achilles tears. So he's going to he's not going to be able to make this block. But if he's able to stay there, and then you've got Sean Ryan coming out front, you've got Jacobs and Belton that are able to seal here. I think this is probably a touchdown. All right. You've got some linebackers that are flowing. All right, but it is unfortunate that Fitzpatrick goes down there. He's not able to make that seal. That would have allowed Golden to kind of hit that seam at full speed rather than having to hurdle a guy, lose his speed, and get wrapped up. Now we're on to overtime. And Malik Willis obviously hurt his shoulder on the last play in the fourth quarter, getting sacked, driven down to the ground on that shoulder. But here we get a nice crosser route. Crosser routes have been working quite well against this Bears team. All right, it's kind of a sail concept, so he's going to pass in front of the linebacker. All right, back out, and that's going to be tough coverage for this team here. All right, you got Tampa 2, and now your middle read defender has this receiver go directly into the middle. All right, so he's going to have to attach, and he's already moving this way while he's staying square. All right, so it's going to be hard for him to flip those hips and get outside. But Willis sees it, drives it, Reed able to get it. A nice 31-yard gain for the Packers in overtime. So looks good. You think, hey, it's going to be time. All right, time for us to drive down, score a touchdown. But here it is, 4th and 1. Fumbled snap. Wilson able to recover it, trying to get as much yardage as possible. But that shoulder, maybe he wasn't ready for the snap. Maybe he didn't get the count right. Don't know what exactly happens. But unfortunate on a 4th down that you're going to fumble in that situation. I wonder if, because of the shoulder injury, they decided not to do the tush push, which was successful earlier in the game. But it's really unfortunate that this happens to Malik Willis after having a solid game to keep the Packers, in the lead for the majority of the game. Keep them in a competitive game against a division rival. But that's going to do it for this offensive breakdown. The Packers offense was fine. It's just frustrating. They've got 5 possessions in the red zone, even within the 10, and there's only 9 points to show for it. We've got the first possession. Maybe they kick a field goal there. The Bears probably go down and match instead of doing that trick play. But at least you would get points in that situation. You feel better about that rather than getting nothing. But again, if any of those field goals was converted into a touchdown, this game doesn't even go to overtime. So it's finishing in the red zone. Pretty sure there was a stat during the broadcast that the last 7 drives in the red zone have only resulted in 1 touchdown. So the Packers offense just has to be able to finish. We've got to be better in the red area. Overall, they controlled the game. They controlled the clock. They had, possession for almost 40 minutes. It was 38 minutes and change. So when you're possessing the ball like that, you're limiting your opponent's possessions. You should be winning that game. But it was really an unfortunate collapse by the defense and the special teams. And the Packers are not able to win this one in overtime. But that'll do it again for this video. I'll have the defense review tomorrow, and then we're on to the Baltimore Ravens the following week. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.